So here's a question that I often get asked by a lot of my own clients and a lot of people that approach me from my channel and a lot of people that just know me in general. And when they find it hard to rank or when they see their rankings tank, the first thing they do is disavow their backlinks. Now, even though I have extensively used the Disavow tool personally in the past for a lot of my clients to a great deal of success, but it's something that you should use very, very judiciously. And now it's very important that you don't use it unless you know what you're doing. I have seen webmasters tank their websites by using the Disavow tool. Now, some SEOs will say, use the Disavow tool. If it tanks your website, just delete it. Well, in that case, it doesn't really recover as fast as it went down. And so once you've used the Disavow tool, there's no coming back from it. It's not easy. So you can do it. It's not easy. It's not going to be that you recover from it the next day. It might take a month. It might take 6 months. And it might take 6 months of work, continuous work on your site. And even then, there's no guarantee. And so I'm going to caution everyone who's not an experienced SEO to not use the Disavow tool. And in this video, I'll go into why you shouldn't use it. Don't use it until you know exactly what's going on your site and then off of your site. That will save you a great deal of time, effort, and even money if you're making money off your website. All right, so before you go into using the Disavow tool, the first thing you should do is do an on-site audit, which means take a look at your Google Search Console. If you don't have any other tool, this is a free tool. It's by Google. It's not great. It's not the best of the best out there, but it gives you relevant information. Go to Google Search Console, click on manual penalties to figure out if there's a manual penalty on your website. It's very rare to get a manual penalty, but if you've been engaging in lots of black hat SEO or you've been linking to a lot of shady websites, well, there's a chance that you will get a manual penalty. And if you see that there's a manual penalty on your website, that will be the first signal that would mean that you first need to figure out why there's a manual penalty. If the manual penalty is because of unnatural link building, it's only in that case that you should do an off-page audit to figure out which bad links are pointing to your website, make a list of them, and disavow those links. And so that's case number one. And it's only in this case that you should use the Disavow tool. If you're not an SEO and if you know your way around compiling a Disavow file and doing an off-page audit, it's only in that case that this will work for you. And after submitting the Disavow file, you can then ask for a review. The manual reviewer will then review. It could take a week. It could take 10 days. But once that's done, the manual penalty should be removed. But that does not necessarily mean you'll start ranking again where you were before. It'll take time to get back there again. So, second scenario where you should use a Disavow tool. You're watching your website traffic tank. It's going down gradually, and you see a whole bunch of bad links coming into your website, and it coincides with the traffic going down on your website. Now, in that case, it could be that those bad links are causing your website to tank. And the only way to confirm that is to take a look at your average rankings for the keywords that you are doing very well for. If you see that your average rankings are also going down, and they're going down around the time when these links have started to point to your website, this could be an indicator of a algorithmic penalty. And so when there's an algorithmic penalty, usually you would see a steep decline. But if the penalty is being applied to certain pages, and you get a lot of traffic, so the pages, each page that those links are going to will start to see a decline in their traffic, which would then mean that your overall traffic on your Google Search Console will show a gradual decline. A sudden decline means an algorithmic penalty, but also then if there are bad links linking to individual pages that were doing well but are not doing so well now, you would see the gradual drop in your traffic. In that case, you'd want to do an off-page audit, figure out what these backlinks are, where they're coming from, and then if they look really shady, that's only in that case that you should disavow them. Again, I would say don't do it if you don't know what you're getting yourself into, because these could be hundreds and thousands of links that you have to go through to figure out if these links are really bad. So That's probably for another video to do. The next thing is if you see that your traffic just drops off, and if you're looking at your Google Search Console, traffic has just dropped off, most people will think that this is because there are bad links coming into the website. That's not always the case. Usually that's an algorithmic penalty, as I mentioned earlier, but it could also be that a lot of the links that were bringing traffic to your site are no longer linking to your website. And so this will require that you do an offsite audit to figure out if those links are still linking to your website, and not necessarily that those bad links are harming your site. And so this will require an offsite audit, and this will also require an onsite audit to maybe, there's a page that has disappeared or has been removed by a webmaster, or something has happened, there's a glitch with one of the WordPress plugins that you're using. And so this will require both an on-page audit and an off-page audit to figure out. So, shameless plug here, I offer audit services. If you're looking for someone to do an SEO audit for you, there's a link in the description that will take you to my website, and you can order my website audit services, which also includes a strategy based on what I'm seeing on your website. So, that being said, if you see that there's a problem with your website, that's when you should consider doing a disavow. That's not necessarily a silver bullet in this scenario, but that could be the case if you're just seeing like 6 or 7 shitty links pointing to your website. Doing a disavow does not make any sense. And so 80% of the cases, I would say a disavow does not make sense just because you're seeing your traffic drop off a cliff. Now, the best way to save yourself from a lot of frustration is to hire a professional to take a look at your site. Even if you do a lot of your own SEO, hire a professional to do an audit to figure out what's going on both on your site and off your site, and give their recommendation as to whether or not you should be disavowing. Or if you have already disavowed, maybe you would want to consider removing the disavow file, because in some cases it does more harm than good. So I hope you guys found this video useful. Let me know in the comments below if you disavow bad links, and if it has had any positive effects on your rankings. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.